Hello everyone, Nox here. The Gauntlet was released this week and I just got around to giving it a try today, and I wanted to share my thoughts about it and how Season 3 has been overall for me and sort of my plans going forward. So, firstly, the Gauntlet itself. It's pretty solid, decently fun experience, I would say. You run around, grab various shrines, you kill a bunch of monsters and bosses, you push yourself for higher and higher score. It's a cool, fun system, and I think D-Force combat is really where it excels, and so doing battle against bosses and elites at the same time is a good change of pace versus the more formulaic Nightmare Dungeon cycle or Helltide cycle. I think there's elements of it that I would like to see elsewhere in the game, but like that's about it. The Gauntlet itself is pretty solid. The UI is okay. You can't see profiles if they're private. I think that needs to be changed entirely, but regardless, it's an okay system. Leaderboards are okay. It's interesting, trying to push yourself a little bit higher, but that's it. It was welcome and nice, but why was it released now? The Gauntlet was originally announced at BlizzCon 2023. I was there. It was awesome. And I think a lot of us were excited to, any fans of the game were excited to hear about leaderboards coming to the game and any sort of new content for the end game. Unfortunately, Blizzard announced before Season 3 that it wouldn't be available at launch, and everyone hated that. So it was not well received at all. I was actually pretty mixed about it. I was really hoping for like a ladder style leaderboard, similar to say like Diablo 2 or Path of Exile, because I raced to 100 in hardcore and I'd like to, see where I stand against the greater community at large. I think it'd be better than just some of the third-party sites that track your BattleNet. This system sounded a lot more like the Greater Rift system that is in D3, and I wasn't really excited about that direction. I was hoping the game wasn't going to go in that direction. So we waited, and then in an interview with Xbox Wire on January 24th, which is one day after Season 3 started, Rod Ferguson said that the Gauntlet would be available on February 13th, which was like, hey, cool, like that's pretty soon. It's not so bad. And then it was obviously delayed and came out this week on March 5th. Now, this is like total tinfoil hat speculation, but it almost seems intentional for the Gauntlet to be released exactly 42 days after the start of the season and exactly 42 days before the end of the season. It's the direct midpoint. That doesn't make it can't be coincidence, right? I don't know. I think not releasing a major feature and advertising point of the season is a huge mistake. Season start is such huge hype. Everyone gets excited. If you're gonna step away from the game and come back, now's the time to do it. But instead, if they have to wait nearly a month and a half before the next, or before all of the content is there, it's very psychologically easy to say, I'll just wait till next season, which is why this received such a positive response. I think this feature would have been phenomenal at the beginning of the season, but this far in, it really falls flat. At the start of the season, everyone's on the same playing field. They start from 0, and you blast and you level up and you go score. Then each time you play, you have the choice, hey, do I farm for more gear, or do I jump into the Gauntlet and try to refine my strategy to get a higher score that way? If you get a lucky drop, it pushes your score higher, and so on. Now you look, and everyone on the leaderboard has an Uber unique or 2 because they've been farming this entire time after you or myself or most people have taken a break from what was otherwise a pretty shallow season in terms of content. And it just doesn't feel good. This leads me to my thoughts on Season 3 as a whole. Overall, I think the seasonal content was pretty solid. I think vaults are just better, more refined Nightmare Dungeons. I think the objectives are minimal, and I think they make sense in terms of how the world is structured. I would much rather just go quickly grab a key or hit a lever to unlock something than this weird, like, run in, do a strange objective, or run over there, grab the stone thing, then come back and put it on the pedestal. Oh, by the way, you can't carry 2 at a time for some reason. I think vaults, and to a degree the Gauntlet, are a rare example of Diablo 4 getting out of its own way. Diablo 4's combat, its sound design, and its visuals are its strengths, and Vaults and the Gauntlet play into them. It's all combat all the time. You're rushing around, you're just blasting through killing monsters, and there's not stupid stuff to do, tedious things to do in the meantime. It reminds me of Maps and Path of Exile. It reminds me of Monoliths in Last Epoch. If you have a fun character, if you have a fun build, then these just work and it's fun. That's why people tend to enjoy them more. The companion for season 3 is mid at best, I think. They have some cool tools to augment your character, but otherwise they're pretty much a cookie cutter build every single time. And it doesn't matter what class or spec you're playing, you sort of just pick up the same stuff over and over again. The outdoor areas, or the mech harvests, as people have called them, I think are solid. I think that they're a good change of pace from like the Nightmare Dungeon or the Vault. I think they're kind of a cool way to collect resources. I think they're probably just as good as the Blood Harvests were in season 2, and I know people enjoyed those quite a bit. Malphus, which is the bad guy of season 3, is a interesting boss. He feels different from the rest of the bosses in the game, and I thought that that was a win. The son of Malphus, on the other hand, is just a reskinned version of the first boss you fight in the campaign. He's the Scourge of the Land, or I think he has a couple other names too. I do enjoy that he shows up kind of like the Butcher, and I think that kind of adds some variance into your gameplay, so I think that's pretty cool, but that's about it. For me, season 3, as far as like a rating goes, I think for me, season 3 was a 6 out of 10. To put that in perspective, preseason for me was a 7.5 out of 10. Season 1 was a 6. Season 2 was an 8. For me, like, you know, like the too long, like what is the Gauntlet worth it? For me, returning the Gauntlet was pretty good, but it's not something I'm going to be grinding every single week until next season. There's no way. And then as far as quick updates for this channel, I'm going to be making an updated guide for Hydrosork because it received a buff when the Gauntlet was released. So I'll be checking that out. And then I'll likely be done with the season until PTR, and then I'll check out some stuff then. And I would like your feedback. Do you guys like this opinion piece style of video? If so, hit the like button, comment your thoughts on the Gauntlet, Diablo 4, Season 3, or other games you've been playing instead. Let me know when you want to see from the channel in the coming weeks. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.